to declare a week of National Pizza Rejoicing. While the pizza replaces all other wheels, a factory with levers and wires and pizzas turning on olive oil, and a pizza merry-go-round where children ride the mushrooms. I want mountains on my pizza and rivers of raw salt for the deer to lick. I want to put my pizza on the record player and hear Coltrane on my tongue. I want pizza wars where every inch of onion is hotly contested. I want pizza peace. I want a piece of pizza, please. Hold the anchovies. So what I did is I put a huge piece of paper all across the whole blackboard, and I had the children fill in the pizza with everything they wanted on a pizza. And we started learning English by them making up silly, crazy things to put on the pizza. And somewhere in things that I buried, I know I have a photograph of that marvelous thing. So when I showed it to Julia, she was like, that's good. You know, just low-key about it. But the important thing is find poems you can read to children from Julia's books, because children are fascinated. They love them. And children don't get enough real poetry. So that's it. Yeah. Oh, one other thing. Julia always did the maypole with the yellow ribbon, and as long as that foot lasted her, she went around the maypole on May Day. So, Hail May Day! Yeah, Hail May Day! And it still lives out at my barn every May. So, bring it back, Lynn. Yes, I did. I know you did. Come and help me. Okay.
I like that idea, reading to children or poetry. That's great. So next we have Elliot Kennan, did I get that right? Followed by Lotus Allen.
Julia was a friend of my late wife, Milia, since the 70s, as well as my current wife, Lynn Sagayan. And at one point, Julia told Lynn, you ought to get together with Elliot, and didn't know we already were together. This is a dream I had, which I got to tell by way of introducing Julia at the very last poetry reading at the Cafe Med. It goes like this. I dreamed I was walking by the bay shore, and I found a little blue glass bottle sticking out of the sand, and I said to myself, Lynn would like that. And I picked it up and rubbed it off, and a genie popped out. And you mean I get 3 wishes? And he said, no, only one. We've had budget cuts. The expression on his face said it all. I said, gee, 1 wish. Wow, that's a hard one. He said, how about happiness and love? I said, already got that twice. How about good health? I got it. How about doing what you like for a living? I do it. Well, come on. Oh, I got it. I want to be able to write poetry as good as Julia Vinograd. He said, sorry, that's already taken. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? He said, every time she does a public reading, I get 7 requests for that. Over the years, half of the poets at Greyhaven have asked for that. Well, gee. Well, come on, I got other calls to make. Poor Jeannie looked so tired and sad. I said, is there anything I can do to help you? And he said, no, mortals can't help us. But if you promise not to tell, I'll tell you what I wish for. Done. I want to be able to write poetry as good as Julia Vinograd.
It is wonderful to see all you out there filling the seats. And now, this must be Lotus Allen. Come on, Lotus.
I first met Julia years ago at a Works in Progress poetry reading, giving her a ride home, she and her sister Debbie. I was touched by her indomitable spirit and just how amazingly prolific she was. I miss her. I think she'll always be with me. I walked in and bought a book, excuse me, and decided to just let my fingers pick the poem randomly. So I opened page 11 of Darkness, excuse me, and we have the poem that wants to be read is Back Alley Music. This is back alley music, where each note dares every other note to step outside. It's full of slang details of what the sailors did to the other chord's mother, with flourishes, a riff, and a rake. Rude music giving the bird to your ear, sticking its tongue out and slapping your attention. A swagger song that dares you not to listen. You may be a millionaire, or a beautiful baby, or a big guy where you came from. Sneers a clarinet wail, spit from the side of the mouth, the holy insult, the knife's tears. But here, in the city slums, with your back against the back alley, you hear. And if you know what's good for you, you dance. Thank you, Julia.
Okay, before I bring up the next person on the list, I'm going to interject with a poem of Julia's. And this is what she has to say about poetry. Title is Poetry. A guy at the cafe said poetry didn't work anymore because nothing worked anymore. I agree that nothing worked, but poetry isn't part of nothing. It never was. Poetry isn't a lever you pull for a candy bar or a lotto number. Poetry isn't a button, not even the sweet buttons on people's bodies. Poetry hovers over a blank page, a breath caught in forever, not to work, not even to play. Poetry is a weed growing wild inside us, a weed of want and dream, ignoring the growl of blind lawnmowers. Poetry pulls elephants' noses, and that's how they got so long. Poetry stubs its toes on stars and goes, ouch, 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 ouch. Poetry brushes its teeth with televisions and gargles with glory. Poetry spills from our lips in shining spirals like a child's slinky going downstairs. Poetry eats breakfast cereal of graves, coughs up coffins, and butters headstones like toast with plenty of honey. Poetry takes notes under lovers' beds, guessing at moans and sweet sounds nobody knows how to spell. Nothing is ever enough. Poetry pours more salt into the sea. At street corners where traffic lights command stop or walk, poetry flashes by, blowing wind through our wing feathers, the wings we don't have, paper wings. Next up is Baby Mother of the Matrix, And on Waiting in the Wings will be Kimi Sugioka.
Yeah, I'm a Berkeley child, old aging Berkeley ruffian from Telegraph, and Julia was a huge, Julia was a huge part of that, of this being a wild child of Berkeley. We took her for granted as kids. You know, we would be running from Silver Ball to all these different places that are just mere in a ghost of a memory now. So anyway. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by the radioactive fallout of nuclear families and the lure of $1 pizza slices on Telegraph Avenue that tasted like stale cardboard covered in ketchup, ABC government cheese, and anarchy loogies. Dissed pizza crusts kicked to the curb by ungrateful pigeons and throwaway teens, and crust pump toss-ups who posted up at Blondie's. Pinned pupils spun out on blood-spotted cotton balls and jailbait runaway pinball blow-up dolls. Pimply porn abusers and never-should-have-been-born losers who won every proto-video game at Silver Ball. Back when Ms. Pac-Man started her own career, got a divorce and burned her bra, chanting, "Still I rise," strong and independent through it all. Overdosed suicide ghosts in shock who still stalk the chalky graffiti walls at Barrington Hall. Trustafarian starving artists, spoiled by overly indulgent, negligent parents since the day they could crawl. Marcus Garveyites cast a judgy side-eye to the Negro bedwench who only said hi to the white rainbow gathering geek guy in tie-dye. He wasn't even her type. Hate to break it to you, but the naked man died in vain, waiting for the hate man to say, "Hey, I love you, man, don't ever change." Skinny leg, acid wash jeans, and Jerry curl sheen, dried on the popped Izod pink collars of high yellow biracial teens, of Black Panther soldiers with blonde cornrow Wakanda sister wives who already ate up 8 of their 9 lives. When Rare used to chase screaming Berkeley sorority chicks with 80s sitcom hair all the way to